Well, here we are in some intense Ambuscade, September, and it's actually pretty intense, but there's a pretty simple strategy that has been working for us, and as you can see, we're actually all the way down to the boss now. Essentially, what you want to do to clear this thing is you're going to want multiple blue mages. Check, we have Tizona and all that. You're going to want a red mage that's on the top of his game, so master red mage if possible. You're going to want a scholar or a white mage. And you're going to want one other, either red mage or paladin, someone to actually control the boss while they're fighting ads, while the blue mages are fighting ads. And there you go, and that's all you need. So what we did, after a few runs where we did one red mage and then two red mages, I liked two red mages. I was on my red mage, I really had a lot of fun. But then I switched to paladin, and instead of like having myself be the red mage and a rune fencer actually be the tank for the boss, it was my friend on red mage and me on paladin tanking the boss. And basically all the tank does is try their best to hold the boss while they're doing the ads, and then just DPS when they're on the actual boss fight. I would DPS in a tank set though, not TP set, because of his TP moves. Now if you have a summoner that can use Kate Sith, you can use Mewing Lullaby, and you can spam Mewing Lullaby to stop him from doing his kibosh. So you could consider bringing a summoner along for this, but if you can just eat the kibosh and you have a scholar and a red mage healing and your paladin or whatever decently healing, you're fine. The blues can actually do all the damage for you. As you can see, we've got Tugs and Zeta at the top of the parse. You can always bring a third blue mage. I think we actually are running 3 blues right now. Yeah, 3 blues. But you can do 2 blues. You could do 2 blues and say like a summoner, or 2 blues and do the mewing lullaby strategy I just mentioned. Or you could do 2 blues. Dark Knight. Dark Knight's really strong if they have Tor Cleaver, especially if they have Khalid Bog and their Master Dark Knight. You can do that. But blues get it done. You could also have the red mage nuke here off of all these light skill chains. Spam fire or whatever the elemental weather is for the day. Like, it's light right now, so we really can't do much there, but spam fire or whatever and get magic bursts. You're going to do thousands of magic burst damage on this guy for sure, because the red mage will always try to land Frazzle 2 or Frazzle 3, which makes all the nukes stronger, so you might as well magic burst when you can, especially if you have Merlinic with magic burst dogs. Then you definitely want to do that. You're going to DPS really, really strong on red mage that way. I would probably say not necessarily spam your CDC on red mage, because you could really screw up the light damage if you close by mistake. Like you notice I just used Atonement. That could also close the light skill chain, but it didn't because I waited for them to use their light skill chain closer and then I did it. But that'd be the only way you could really sneak yours in. Or you could open with CDC as Paladin or Red Mage if you want to get in there, if you have the accuracy for it. I'm using a tank set like I said, so I don't have the accuracy for it. But since I'm not actually pulling hate right now, I could switch. So we'll put the TP set on. The only problem here is he can actually hit you with kibosh and kill you, so that's the one downside. If he does that, you're dead. The blues can hold him for a while, so if the tank dies, it's no big deal. You really don't need a tank for this, to be totally honest. Yeah, I can just spam CDC alongside them, not a problem. We got all the Z's, everything. Yeah, but holding hate on this guy is almost impossible, because he's just going to keep resetting. Like, every one of his TP moves apparently like resets his enmity. But when you are holding him and they are killing the ads, you're going to want to make sure you do 2 things. You want to make sure that you're far away from the ads, but close enough to be cured and secure the party to help them cure. But you want to make sure that the boss is not close to the ads. Okay, that's gotta be done. He's gotta be away from the ads in order to actually win nice and smoothly. Otherwise, he'll get super buffed. One of them or the other will get super buffed. It's just not good to keep them close together. But the little ads can be close together. Because what you're going to normally do is the red mage is going to sleep gut everything. You don't need elemental seal for it, but you can if you want. And then you're going to want to bind the boss. Now he's resistant to bind as red mage, so you do have a chance at getting resisted. So you might want to consider using your job ability to improve your accuracy. There's like a 5 or a 10 minute recast one. I think it's called Saboteur. Yeah, Saboteur. And you could do that, and that will make sure your bind actually lands. But we don't really get a bind 2 as red mage, I don't believe. So that second level bind duration that you would get from your typical tier 2 binds, tier 2 enfeebles, you're not gonna have that. So he will need to be bound multiple times, just like the ads will need to be slept multiple times. That just has to happen. You gotta be on point with that too, or you could very well just die if you're not careful. I've been there. It's not fun. Gotta keep that phalanx up if you're red mage. Gotta keep some distance. You can't just sleep them and stand on top of them. They'd have died. That's not good. We'll be fine. But all in all, that's it. That's the whole fight. You just grind them down with CDC. You can see on the parse there's a lot of skill chain damage happening with the light damage. So consider that. You could bring a magic burster. Like I said earlier, red mage does really well there, but black mage could. As if you have a spot, black mage might be a good call. Because the skill chain light damage is going to do a lot of damage. If you have radiance, you might want to consider that. Bring that. Bring an aeonic job to do some radiance damage, because that's going to be huge. But you can see from the parse that all of the skill chain damage combined equals another DPS, pretty much. So just consider CDC spam the whole time. Get your deck set put together. Grab the CDC if you don't already have it, and just CDC him. Every job, Paladin, Red Mage, and Blue that has CDC, and you're good. And just spam that shit. And you got it. GG. That's done. Look at all those hallmarks and badges. I used my my item to give me bonus points, but there you go. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys.